Hey, everybody. Good morning. We welcome you to our preview of the Payroll Work Center. It is one of the many new features that Cardinal will roll out as part of our upgrade project, and we are glad to have y'all on the call. Okay, so here's our agenda for today. We'll start with a few introductions. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the upgrade project and discuss session objectives. And then I'm going to turn it over to Laura, who is going to show you this fabulous new Payroll Work Center. And then I'm going to fill you in on what you can expect over the next few months. And we will end with any last minute questions you might have. Okay, our main speaker today is Laura Swecker, who I know y'all are well acquainted with. She's our payroll team lead. My name is Dana, and Monica and I are the change leads here at Cardinal, and we'll be facilitating this session. So let me tell you just a little bit about the PUM upgrade project. The Cardinal team is enhancing both BIN and HCM, upgrading these applications to the latest PeopleSoft releases. We started the project in September 2025 and plan to go live with the upgraded system in September 2026. The upgrade includes over 1,400 enhancements aimed at improving the user experience and overall system functionality, including the implementation of work centers in most of the modules. So, what is so great about work centers, you might ask? A work center serves as a centralized hub for users to access key module components and is tailored to Cardinal system roles. Think of it as a one-stop shop for doing your daily tasks. It consolidates reports, queries, tasks, and relevant links into a single workspace. And the My Work section highlights where user action is needed. You'll learn much more about the Payroll Work Center from Laura. We are giving you an exclusive first look at this Payroll Work Center, and we'll use your feedback and insights to help inform our communication and training strategy to our larger Cardinal audience. We're also hoping you'll be excited about what you see today, and you'll take back what you learn and share it with your colleagues. So feel free to share the presentation deck or the recording with folks back at DOA. We know that virtual sessions are a challenge as there are so many distractions, but we hope you'll be able to stay focused for the next hour or so. Again, we value your feedback and we hope you will ask questions. And lastly, please complete the post-session survey that we'll provide a link to at the end of the presentation. In the survey, we'll give you the opportunity to let us know if there are any links, reports, or queries that you think need to be added to the Payroll Work Center. So now I'm going to turn it over to Laura, and she is going to provide a walkthrough and a demonstration of the Payroll Work Center. Laura?
Thank you, Dana. Hi, guys. So before I get started, I wanted to call out a couple of things. First of all, I want to thank each of you for participating in our preview of the new feature coming to payroll. Everyone invited to this session was selected intentionally by the payroll team because of the roles you play with your agencies as payroll administrators, as subject matter experts that are detailed oriented, and because of your deep practical knowledge of how your agencies uses Cardinals. And let's face it, PSB, we value your opinion because you process payroll for 65 agencies. And payroll, if you have roles in other HCM modules, you may see that they have multiple new features with the PUM upgrade. In payroll, we have been fortunate to have the quarterly tax updates that included new payroll features that are communicated via payroll bulletin and updated impacted payroll training materials at the time of implementation. The Payroll Work Center is the only new feature to be implemented with the PUM upgrade. This new feature will provide the payroll administrators a one-stop location to review and work items required during the payroll processing period. What you're going to see today is a preview. This is not final. What you'll see reflects where we are today, and it's intentionally being shared early. We're sharing this to gather feedback on usability, on how we approach the user rollout, not because everything is complete or locked in. Today is about awareness, context, and early feedback. So as I walk through this, I'd like you to focus on where things live, how things are grouped, how this replaces navigation, not functionality. Training and job aids will be updated once the Payroll Work Center configurations are final and will be available as we implement this new feature. The Work Center, as mentioned earlier, is a central hub for the payroll core users that brings together items requiring attention and provides easy access to pages, queries, reports, and processes needed to perform payroll-related job functions. It includes My Work, which is your to-do list. It's a view of the exceptions, such as your payroll error messages that requires reviewing or correction. It includes Links, which is a direct navigation to your most frequently visited day-to-day task pages. Queries, where you can run payroll queries directly within the workspace. And then Reports or processes, where you have direct access to common payroll reports and automated system processes. I introduce you to the work filters, which when you go into the Work Center, is required filters are preset based on the business unit companies to which the user has access to. Users will have the ability to filter on what they see. They have the option to set default filters, which allows users to update the preset filter that will be applied every time the user accesses the Work Center, or they will be able to set temporary filters, which allows users to refine the filter to temporarily focus on a particular criteria. I'll show you how this works during the demo. So without further ado, I will take over Sharon and show you the Work Center. For awareness, I am in a test environment as I demonstrate for you. So what you see is how it should look. But as we test and refine, there may be some changes. Roles determine what you see. So your titles may look a little different from what you see here. I have access to statewide companies. So you're going to see that when we go in, that my list is a little longer than what you will see when you're using it. From the Cardinal homepage, we are going to click on the Payroll Work Center. You will notice that most of the Work Center is similar to My Favorites. When you're clicking on My Links and Queries and Reports, it's similar to how you work with the favorites pages. So that won't be significantly impactful to your day-to-day job. It's My Work section is what we are excited about. We are starting with a fairly simple work item. Once implemented, we will continue to review for potential enhancements and work with SPO to identify useful work items that will be useful for payroll admins of what you should be focused on each day. And how do we come up with the list of links and reports, et cetera, that we have in here? We attempted to provide at least 80% of the components you use on a frequent basis, but you will still need to navigate to other links that you use today that may not be included in the Work Center. We come up with a list of 10 to 12 queries, reports, and links by looking at the ones most frequently used by the payroll administrators today, saved as favorites by the payroll administrators, and by working with SPO on which ones they want to emphasize the payroll administrators should be using. There will be a survey sent out after the session where you can request changes to the queries, links, reports, which we may be able to incorporate. So now the filters. Let's talk about those filters. Filters. So there's a couple of areas where you see filters right here below in the payroll error messages section. You see 3 buttons. the quick links and the settings icon will be disabled. This is the button that takes you to the temporary filter. You have an option to filter on pay run ID, company, pay group, or the pay period end date. For PSB, since you do the 65 agencies, this may help you guys when you by selecting the companies that you're working on. Pay groups, we have SM pay group and the BW pay group that the two payrolls are processing at the same time, that you want to just focus on one or the other. So what I want to show here, go back here, you see here I have a list of, and to call out here up under the payroll error messages, you can see I have 263 errors listed here. And if I want to filter, let's say I want to filter on company IDC, I'm going to go in here and enter that, click on it, and then I'm going to click on the done button. And because I'm in my test environment here, I'm having to do it twice. You shouldn't have to. You can see that it is now only showing the one error message for IDC. Now, this is a temporary filter. If I were to go back home and then I click on the Payroll Work Center, you see the full list is back. So I'm going to go in here. Just want to check something real quick. All right, so that's the temporary link. For the default setting, if you want to change what your default is, you will look at this icon. This is the settings icon, and what you see here is personalized and edit filters. This personalized will be disabled, but you will be able to select the edit filters. You select that, and then you click on the audit exceptions, and then click on payroll error messages, and you see that same window opens up where you can filter it on the pay run ID, company, pay group, or pay period end date. So I'm going to do the same thing, use the same company I used earlier, IDC. Click on done, and then I need to click on done here. And you see it only shows the one company. Now, like I did before with the temporary, let's go back home and go into the tile, and you see that default is still what you see is IDC. Now, you know that there's a larger list there. You still have the option to go here into your temporary link and take out IDC and click on done, and it brings you back the full list. But if I go back home and I come back in, it's back to my default. And if you want to change your default, then it's just a simple matter of going back into edit filters. Taking IDC out of there, clicking on done, and done, and you're back to the full list. Any questions on that?
Hi, good morning. I was wondering, will it have the capability to select multiple default agencies? Because some of our analysts that work these items do have multiple agencies assigned to them, or is it just one at a time?
Kevin, I think at this time they only.
I'm trying to find my hand. Can you go to the filter a minute?
All right. I can help too if Kevin gets stuck.
And you should be able to go to company
Yep.
and pick enlist in. And then you can pick multiple companies.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
So I'm going to show this.
I think you can
Hey,
click on the
Laura.
search button.
Laura, click on the search button, click on your icon, and yeah, now you can happy hunting. But for a PSB person, that list that shows up is only going to be the companies you have security access to. So the list will be much shorter. And you
Right.
can use the little checkbox on the header row and it will check everything for you. So just depending on what you want to do, is it easier to check them all and then uncheck the ones you don't want, or you can play around with it.
Got it. Thank you.
So what I'm gonna try to do, show you how this works. Here I've chosen IDC and DMV. And you see that that's all I have here.
And if you scroll over to the far right side, then you can see the number of counts. That's for the full list. And then if you scroll over to the right up at where's
Right there,
there
5
it is,
rows.
5 rows.
Shannon, you want to ask your question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, that N that you had there, is that available on other queries now and we just haven't noticed it? Or is it only in this, is this new?
Talking about right here.
Yeah,
It's in search records for
okay,
pages. I'm not sure on queries. When we get down and we run a query, you can test that out, Laura.
Okay.
I think it is, but I can't swear to it.
okay. All right, so the other question that I have, you had asked about suggestions for other things to put here. If the report is like a PDF, that's not gonna come across necessarily like this, right? It has to be more like a query type thing to be listed here.
It's based on a query and it's information that we'll want to push to you. So for example, if you said, I want to see, I want it to highlight, my outstanding approvals that are needed for spot batches. So it shows you have 3 outstanding this morning. We would have to, the way we build is we have to do a query to identify the population, and then we put it out there, and then we have some options to maybe put links so that if you click on it, it goes directly into the spot batch that needs approval. So it's a development activity. So these are not like you can fire 20 of them at us and we'll have them up there in a week. This is like a report kind of.
Okay, so even like the base pay compare that we currently have, that probably, if we just wanted to see all new hires or something in the pay period, is that's the type of thing you're looking for suggestions?
Yeah, if the goal is that there are things that require your action or your attention. The new hires would be more for your attention, but ideally they're things that you need to work the list down to 0.
Like the people that are not paying the 1% or the 4% for whatever reason on the rate separation. So yeah, okay, I get it.
Okay. So let's talk about the payroll error messages section a little bit. One of the cool things about this is you see over here on the left-hand side, you see that number 263. This is the number of errors that I have listed here. This includes the, this is the same, the results here are the same as what you see today on the payroll messages query. As I scroll over, I see, the information about I see the employee ID, I see the department the employee is in, the business unit, what payroll this is, and then there's your message text. And for those over here to the far right, again, you see there's a number of rows, and then there's this little icon right here where you can click on that gives you the ability to download. So if you want to download this to use to check off the errors as you're working on them, then you can. As you're working on the errors, it's just like today with your payroll errors. When you're working it from the query, this list is not going to change until the pay calc has run. So you come in the morning and you go into your WorkCenter and you work your error messages, do all the corrections and changes and so forth that you need to do. Let the pay calc run, and then come back in the at noon, and then come back in the afternoon, and then you will see that this list should change if your corrections or updates worked. So that's all we have in here now. Like I said, keep in mind that this is what we're looking at starting with, but this could grow as it's implemented and see, new things that you would be able to use here. I'm going to close this section and then I'm going to open up the links. And you see the links we have grouped by employee data maintenance, process payroll, and other links. When you open up this grouping, you see most of this is your payroll pages that you would go to, and then we have a few of your HR pages. So I click on here, just go into employee additional data, and it's taking me to the screen where I would enter, and I'm going to enter my employee ID. Do a search from here, and it takes me there where I can go in here and make my changes. And so let's say I have a couple of changes that or for payroll, you wouldn't be making the change. This is where you be, it's the same thing. The excess from here and what you have today is the same. If you have display excess, you're only going to see the display. If you have excess to update, let's say I need to update my direct deposit, I can go from here, click on here. And you see it brings forward the employee ID that I have entered here, and it takes me to the direct deposit page, and I can go in here and make my updates. So that'd be the same. I have a direct deposit change I need to enter. I have a general deduction I need to enter. Then you can go in here and just click on that link. I'm going to close that, and then I'm going to open up the process payroll. Here we have the spot transactions, the review spot transactions, review paychecks, and review self-service paycheck. So this is where I can go in here, and when I click on the enter spot transactions, it takes me to the page where I start entering the information where I can pull up one or add a new batch. Review, same thing. Pulling in here, looking for the batches that need to be reviewed and approved. Review paychecks, enter the employee. I shouldn't have entered me. And then there's my list, and you can just pull it up from here. Close that section, and then we have other links, and then the other links we have the process monitor where you can go and see if reports have completed. Report manager is in the other links, and that's all we have for links. For the queries, we have them. They are grouped by you. You can click on the query manager, which just simply takes you to the page where you search your queries. And for payroll queries, I'm searching for, and it gives me the list. And this is where you can go in here and just select the query that you're going to be running and enter the information here. We have payroll queries. And again, we have some employee payroll queries that is listed here that, like I said earlier, we have found that is used by, the payroll administrators. I see Shannon's hand is up. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
how you doing? I was just gonna ask, the ones that are chosen for there, are they chosen for everybody, or is this something we can set up personally?
No, ma'am. This list that we would be starting with is what we have found that most payroll administrators use. The
Okay,
survey that's going to go out at the end of this session is you can go through and look and see the list that we have.
Mhm.
And if you want to add some new ones, or suggest some new ones that need to be here, then you can do that at that time. And
Okay.
then once it's implemented, they will continue to, look for enhancements and et cetera that go for the work center. But
Okay.
keep in mind that you don't want to make this one too busy, right?
Right.
You put too many in here, then you're going to have to do that search, right?
Mhm.
But then there's also the ability to be able to group. So as you're looking at, what you would like to see in here, keep into consideration.
Okay. Thanks.
And then the last section is the reports and processes. And here we have the pay period reports, and then we have the post payroll reports. And here we have the ones that is more commonly run during as we're working on our, processing the payroll. And you see the very first one we have there, Ms. Shannon, is base pay compare report.
Yep, thank you.
So we open this up and you see it takes you right there to the control, run control, where you can either enter the run control, do a search, and it brings you back the list of run controls that you may have set up. Takes you to the parameter page and you can run it from here. All this works just as if you had to navigate to it, or if you went into my favorites and chose it here. So, and then monitor it. And so I already have one that I had run earlier that I can pull up and view from here.
Yeah, Kevin wants you to try to run a query and see if it has that end statement in it when you get a chance, when you get through this, I think.
Let's run their employee direct deposit. Okay, I'm going to run a query. So you want me to? I'm only going to be able to do one.
Okay.
I'm not going to be able to say in.
Right.
I don't know if that's something that we potentially look at later that you may be able to
Yeah,
change.
whoever's keeping notes, can you just note that? And then we'll look at to see if when we build those queries, if there's a way that we can make that an option.
What I also wanted to call out, since we're back here, is what you'll notice in the payroll queries listing, what we have, the way that they're listed here is the name of the query. When you click on that query, you can see the technical name, which is what some of you may be more familiar with. Once you have run the query, what it does is it brings it, the results are here on the page, but you still have the ability to do the download to on Excel. Okay. So what I'd like to do here is to kind of walk through like a sampling of what you may, when you come in in the morning and you go to my work and you see that you have 263 errors that you need to work with. Right now, this full list that I have is not really a whole lot of, the message is the check cannot be calculated because the employee has checks that haven't been calculated or not confirmed. So I have one in here that I know has a different message. So I am going to move that ribbon again. Click on done. Need to do this. Go back out of here. For some reason, I'm having a problem right now. Bear with me, guys.
Just do all caps. I think that may do it.
So finicky. Okay, so there is my I2C employee. And when I scroll over here to the right, I see that this employee's state tax data record for the state displayed below was not found. And so when I go back over here, I see the state that the error on was Virginia. So what I am going to do is I am going to copy the employee ID. And then I am going to go into my links. And this is related to employee data maintenance. I'm going to click on the employee tax data because that's what the error message is for. Enter the employee ID and do a search, and it brings me this employee. And so when I go to the state tax data for this employee, I see that they only have one row for state tax. And it's for the state of DC, and it's both resident and UI jurisdiction. Okay. So let's investigate a little further and see why it's calling out Virginia in the error message. I can go to, let's modify a person. And again, the excess that you have is to display only, so you can see that information. I'm going to scroll up here, and I'm going to see that this employee's address is DC. Let's go to review job data. This is on job data, is where you see the tax location. Tax location code tells me that it's Virginia. So this is where this is where it's calling, where you see Virginia, and you know what happens when they update the tax location code, that sends a default over into payroll, depending on whether it's a hire or a change. And so let's look at, so we've looked at the tax data, and we've seen that the employee's state tax, it was set up for DC. Let's look at employee tax distribution. Tax distribution tells me that this employee was set up for Virginia. So what needs to happen is we need to, what it appears that needs to be updated is the state here on the tax distribution, and potentially what you saw on the tax location on job data. You make these changes. If it's in job data, then this is when you would reach out to your HR person and have them make the updates, and then see if it updates the tax distribution or if you need to manually make the update. But what you've noticed here is that I've only had to copy and paste the employee ID one time. Each time I went to the different pages, it pulled that employee ID over into the search criteria for me to be able to pull up that employee. Any questions? Does this look exciting to you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be helpful. Honestly, it will summarize some things. It's just a matter of, like you say, getting the right combinations of things on the side.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What you will have the opportunity to do, working with us in the SPO group.
And about what's the time frame on that? When would y'all need to know by? What our thoughts are, suggestions?
Hey Shannon, this is Julie. Just for awareness, so we are starting slowly with this, so we won't be, for the links, queries, and reports, we're asking for that feedback via the survey. For the My Work section, we are going to only have that first actionable item for this rollout, which will be rolled out in September. But as Kevin said, we will be rolling out future functionality. So any ideas that you have now, we'll put them in the hopper on our enhancement list.
The survey, Shannon, will include the reports and links and so forth that we have right now.
It'll include the list of what we've got in there right now, and you can take, that'll give you an opportunity to take some time to look at it and say, would like to add this one, and then you can put that in the feedback for us to take a look at.
Okay.
Kevin?
Yeah, I have a request. I have a feeling, so payroll and benefits obviously are different. Benefits, they have their 10 links, and that was the only 10 pages people have access to. So everything they have is there. Payroll, right? We have 40 to 50 reports that you guys run, and we have a whole lot of extra pages that you guys run. So we tried to leave off the ones that you rarely go to, but I have a feeling you're going to come back with a you know, a list of a bunch that you want to add. If you could put them in order of, you know, if I could only have two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, do them in order of priority that you want, because we're going to collect them from a bunch of people and we don't want to make this list unmanageable. So we're going to have to, you know, that will help us as we decide what to give you.
Shannon's got her hand up.
Yes, ma'am. Go for it,
Yeah.
Shannon.
I was just gonna ask, so they didn't have a section for time and attendance, so things like timesheet reports and things, we can still add that group, right? Or suggest that group under the reports, like time report, timesheet report.
Yeah, if
So-
that's something that you go to on a very frequent basis, like every pay period, add them, because,
Okay.
you know, that will help us.
And in
Okay.
some cases, Shannon, depending on the roles you have, you'll have access to the TA Work Center, which is separate from the Payroll Work Center and the Benefits Work Center.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, that's good to know. Thanks.
Keep in mind that the My Favorites is still going to be available to you. You may want to go over into, once this is implemented, go and look and see what you have in My Favorites and tweak that to with reports that may not be added here, or links that may not be added here. Well, I am excited about the fact that there is this one-stop location that you can go to and work all of this instead of having to do all the different navigations and open up the different windows, and one window gets times out and then next thing you know, all of them are closing out on you. So that's it for the demo. So back over to Dana.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thanks, Laura. So, just to, give you a little preview of what's coming up over the next few months. With so many enhancements, we've got a lot of work to do in our training, with our training objects. So we'll be revamping basically all of our training materials, including our instructor-led training, web-based training, our job aids, our videos. And then we'll be developing relevant communications to prepare our users for these upcoming changes. Then over the summer, we'll be conducting a number of forums to introduce all these new features to our larger Cardinal community. And as we mentioned earlier, go live is planned for early September 2026. And I know y'all just love our celebratory bird up there in anticipation. After go live, again, this is something we did after HCM. We'll hold a number of additional forums as needed to address any hot topics or to try to address issues we're seeing through tickets or whatever. So stay tuned, lots more coming in the next few months. So before we close out, do we have any last questions? Well, again, thank y'all for taking out time to attend today. Please, please, please don't forget to take the survey. We really look